grab a microphone. I forgot.
Shalom, shalom, family.
Shalom.
Yes, guys, welcome, 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 welcome. Yeah, I feel like we haven't been live in a while.
Yeah, we haven't been live in a while.
Yeah, and what's a while? Like maybe
A
a
week.
couple days.
We're funny.
Yeah. Usually, I know usually we go live more often.
Yeah.
We just been super busy. We've been like locking stuff down, you know, and just really focused. So, we came on here. Let me pull up that video. But yeah, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, we came on here to talk about longevity in Africa and how our mindsets are totally different than they were in America. And that's something that if you want to leave America, that's something that you're going to have to be ready to adopt and understand that living in a country outside of America, especially in Africa, is going to totally shift and flip your mindset. Number one, you're going to have a better mindset because you're going to learn how to make your resources stretch further and invest in areas that you wouldn't ordinarily think of investing in the US. Like I know in the US, like our minds were so limited, but there's something about traveling and seeing different cultures, seeing different properties, seeing different investment initiatives and understanding, oh, people come here from various parts of the world and make it work. And even looking at how some Africans, be it from Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Ghana, South Africa, Congo, Kenya, will go to America and they'll make it work because their mindset is investment. Our mindset in America is consumerist, consume.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was just thinking because it is like that. Just the other day when I was talking to our neighbor here, and it's crazy how like we can connect. I know when just say the first time we came here to Africa, I'm pretty sure it's been tough to connect. He probably been like, "Oh, you're too American. You can't understand what I'm talking about."
Right.
But since I've been here in Africa and I can understand different tribes, different communities of people, he like, wow, you really get it. And I'm like, yeah, we've been traveling a lot. We haven't been back to America in over 4 years, so I can understand exactly what you're talking about. And he was just like grateful just to have that conversation where, because he was well traveled. He worked in the UK. He had his trade and stuff and doing other things in the UK. But when he came back to his country here, it's different. It's the same, but it's different. And you will only know that if you travel, because you just be exposed to different communities, just how people just do different stuff. And it's more of a blessing than a curse, like really. So when you travel, you are learning and getting that experience of life, really, of life. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because the mindset of America, like we were saying, is consume. And when you try to take that over to the continent, that's why people always end up back in America. That's like the main difference, having an investor versus a consumer mindset. Even when you speak to, because we were watching, I think it's the book I Will Teach You to Be Rich. It's by an Indian guy named Reith. I don't even know how to say his name. I'm not even gonna screw up his name. But we were watching one of his videos and he's a multimillionaire and he's talking about how he moved his family from India to America, but he did not purchase a house. He's been in America for like 30 years. He did not purchase a house. He was willing to think alternatively. He said for his expenses, he was like, it makes more sense for him to invest $35,000, $40,000 into gold and silver and stocks and make that money back versus getting a whole load of debt just to be able to be like, oh, look at me trying to impress people.
Yeah, just to be able to be stuck. To have the, we were saying, I think the video was saying, like, you gotta have a mortgage. You really can't vacate. You can't, vacation, not vacate, vacation, and just enjoy your life. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that mortgage, that stuff ties you down unless you're getting the mortgage as an investment property.
Yeah.
That's the only way that it doesn't become a liability. You may think that it's not a liability, but when you pass that debt down to your children and they stressed and you passed away, that's a liability. So you really have to ask yourself, okay, do I want to keep up with the Joneses or do I want to actually live a life that makes sense from a logistical standpoint? because it's like you have to make it make sense with the numbers, and that's what staying in Africa long term is all about, like
Exactly.
making it make sense from a logistical numbers standpoint. For example, does it make sense to do visa hopping for 5 years straight, or does it make sense, hey, let me try to go somewhere where it's going to be visa free for an American, where they're going to issue me a self-employed visa for
Exactly.
3 to 10 years, and where it's going to be the most affordable. We actually wrote down and did a lot of research last night, and we wrote down a list of like the top 10 countries in Africa with ease to do business. I'm telling you, the barriers to entry to do business are so different. You'll have one country, for example, it's Nigeria, that allows you to open a business for $13,000, but the caveat is you cannot stay in the country longer than a year on average.
Yeah.
Versus a country like Seychelles, they will issue you a workcation digital nomad visa for free if you prove that your business based elsewhere in the world can bring in $1,500 a month.
Exactly.
So it's like
Hmm.
there's so
Yeah.
much nuance just here in Africa.
And that's something that you would just have to learn, and you have to take this information that people here on the ground that have experience that is coming on here and telling you this information, like this knowledge, and this research that we do. But because this happens to us too.
Mm-hmm.
We came here, we're thinking like, oh, this is a country. But when you really start to think about the process of the work permit, the process of the residency, the visa is good. Okay, what's the visa process? And I feel like people get stuck right there. What's the visa process? And a visa process, work, and residency is separate. So what is the best country that's going to help you with that work and residency? Is going to make sure everything's good. It's not like corruption where it's like, we can do this for you if you pay us this.
And then they renege.
Yeah. So you got to go to
That's
countries
the
that,
definition of corruption.
yeah. And so you got to go to countries that's really going to do that for you, and that's what we're starting to learn. Like, wow, this is it's interesting. A lot of people say, oh, that's the first question a lot of people ask us. What's the visa process? It's like the visa is really nothing. You just go to the country, you pay, and you're
And then
good.
you're
You're
then
good
you're
for
in.
3 months. But what are you gonna do after the 3 months?
Yeah, what's your 5 year to 10 year
Yeah,
plan?
yeah. Are you gonna hop countries? Are you gonna go to East Africa, hop, then go to South Africa, hop, or are you literally looking somewhere? Check out this country, go to this country because the other country has better residency process. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what you really got to start thinking. And I
Yeah.
hope people that's watching this right now, that's what you got to think.
That's the only way to think, especially in the last days with these different world wars. You don't want to be in a place that is literally infiltrated with corruption, because
Mm-hmm.
there's just so much tension with that. There's too much risk. As an entrepreneur, if you're an entrepreneur that's around entrepreneurs or people that are just serious about their investments, their main mindset is, let me mitigate risk. I don't, what's comfortable and what's cute and what's trending on the outside, but when you're really there, when you're really trying to establish a trust for your family, you want to pass down wealth, you want to have houses in separate areas, like we're about to discuss in this video that you're going to play, when we'll go ahead and play it, but when that's your goal, you're going to look at your move to Africa differently. You're not going to go with what's the cutest and what's the most trendy thing. You're going to go with what makes the most sense from a long-term stability standpoint. And you'll come out with 2 different answers, because what's cute on safari may not be cute for stability.
That's deep. Like really, really. So that's what you really got to think of. And I know we wanted to say that after the video, but we about to play this video.
Yeah, play the video for the reaction. It's gonna be good. It's a good video, guys. It's gonna shift your mindset.
Listen and let us know what you think.
It's from Myron Golden, by the way.
Where instead of kicking our children out when they're 18, they come to work with us in our family business, and then when they get married, we give them a house so they don't have a mortgage, and a family business so they don't have to find a job. And then we teach them an aspect of the family business so that when we die, instead of just giving them money, we give them skills. We give them a tool set that they can perpetuate the family's wealth instead of decimating the family's wealth. See, we want our children to leave when they're 18. You know why? Because we're Americans. But the Bible that
American.
then shall a man leave his father and his mother and cleave unto his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. So biblically, a person leaves home when they get married. Oh, you have to put up with them for that anymore? The reason you have to put up with them is because you didn't train them up. If you train them up, you don't have to put up with them. But imagine that as a world where your children don't have to start from scratch. Imagine if your parents would have set you up so you didn't have to start from scratch. Imagine how much further ahead you'd be. Well, guess what? As my good friend Dr. Sonia always says, you may not come from a wealthy family, but a wealthy family should come from you.
Mic drop.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, basically like really like that's how it should be. And just like I was saying at the beginning of the video when I had a conversation with our neighbor, that's what he was saying, because I was like, yeah, we're looking to invest in the country. And he basically was like, yeah, if I was you, I'll probably get like a compound. I would stay in one and rent out maybe the other 4 or other 3. And then once your children is old enough and get married, you know, they can take a house and, you know, run the business. So that's basically what he just said.
And it's crazy how, like he said, he was kind of making like, oh, we're American, we kick our kids out.
Yeah.
But it's crazy how in Africa, that is the mindset across the board.
Yeah.
Even in India, people think like that.
Mm-hmm. Only
Even
America,
in the Mediterranean, people think like
only
that.
the 4% that's in America think like that. And it's really our black community. It's not even like
That's true. The Jewish community don't
they
do
don't
that.
do that. They like
Because I grew up in the Jewish. They don't act like that with their children.
It's
They're
the
not
environment.
pushing their children out.
It's the environment. And
They're starting businesses.
Exactly, and that's what we've been talking about lately too. The environment that's around you. What is the environment around you? Because you're gonna be that product of the environment. So like, man, that's crazy to think about. Our people just, oh, you 18, you be a man, go ahead. But it's like, dang, you don't got no skills. You just go to school to work and be an employee. Like really. So you gotta train your children up in the way they should go and like really be leaders and people that's going to be ruling this next kingdom to come.
Right, and you can't rule a kingdom without resources.
Exactly.
That's not how life works. No matter how you would like to manipulate it and spin it, that's just not the reality of life. That's not the way the Most High even created his kingdom to be, when he's literally making emeralds, rubies, gold, silver pop out the ground for people to have control of resources, for people to have currency, for people to be able to maneuver and be wise with what they've been given. So it's with that belief and understanding, okay, now let me be a good steward of what I've been given. And that is involved in choosing the right African country. Let me be a good steward of the knowledge that I'm being given. If you're being given knowledge, if you're not receiving knowledge, then we're not even talking to you. But if you're receiving knowledge of which African country to go to and understand how to properly do research into each of the logistical areas, because there's a lot of areas you have to look at.
Yeah.
You have to look at it from a real estate perspective, a residency perspective, a safety perspective, a peace perspective, a stability perspective.
A growth perspective of the last 5 years, where has it been? Like, is it still stuck in the same place, or is it growing? Is it helping these people? Is the economy like really growing, or just been stagnant? Like really?
Right. Is it like they're kicking themselves in the butt?
Yeah.
Saying you'll do something, then you don't do it. And you have to really be able to discern and see with the fruits. Stop listening to so much of what's said. Look what's being done. If what's being done isn't aligned to what's said, then it's a lie. That's just reality. So look at what's actually being done, the actions that are actually being taken. Because we're trying to tell y'all, the country we're in, we got multiple years of residency within 60 days of being in here, and it's a visa-free country for Americans.
Yeah.
Now imagine that kind of ease and leverage when you move to an African country right off the bat, and then you see, oh, I can get a 10-year visa for $35,000 in the bank versus $100,000 like a lot of countries in East, West, and Southern Africa.
And don't even give you 2 to 5 years.
Right, you would get 1 to 2 years renewal where you have to continue to renew
it.
it.
And it's so crazy because it sounds so good when you're in that process, like 2 years. Oh, it's renewable, but why 2 years? Why? I'm sorry, guys.
You know why? Because African people, we are great storytellers. Let's just be real. That's why. They make you feel like, yeah, Yes.
Yeah, like 2 years renewable. Oh, it is renewable. Like you getting that. Oh, you can't renew it. You can't renew it. Then you realize, oh, the next 2 years,
Let me run these numbers.
we not renewing nothing right now, and it's like, oh, it's not like, dang.
Let me
Now
run
what?
these numbers.
Yeah. So it's
You can have so much ease in life if you're willing to not be lazy and just ask the right question. Because it goes back, it's the same thing with the US. It's the exact equivalent how the US marketed getting a mortgage. And people get so happy to get 150, 200, 300, 500,000 in debt. Yes, I bought my first house.
And that's the mindset of Americans. People still buying houses in America when the interest rate is just skyrocketing and just that's just
And the
all
fruits of
another
it, your
shit. Yeah.
blood pressure is increased. You're on anxiety meds because you know every time you go up in that racist is all get out corporation. They're doing all the microaggressions. Then all that stuff, you done dealt with all that. Now you still can't even pay the mortgage. Now you still can't even pay the home insurance. Now you still gotta pay the taxes every year of the house. Well, we know all those laws. Just we already own property. Already own property in the States. Already did that. Been there, done that. That's why we're not there.
Yeah, you gotta do your research because America's like the only place that do that. That will give you a loan that and say
kill you.
25 to 30 years. These other African countries that finance their citizens and stuff, they say no, you gotta do it in 12 to 15 years.
Well, this one does do 30, but they're not going to give you a crazy interest. They're going to give you a more flexible interest rate.
Exactly. So it's
but
like,
that's another thing. Some people don't even know that.
It makes sense to try to. You're not just gonna give them. That's like giving somebody. Yeah, giving them 500,000 and then say, pay me in 20 years. No, you gotta have you gotta push them harder to pay you back. In America, it kind of just doesn't. It just doesn't do that.
No, I think the issue with America instead is the interest and the rates. Like, there's no cap. There's no ceiling of the mortgage cannot be over this rate. The mortgages will inflate and inflate and inflate over time. And so it basically prices people out of their homes. So then they're like, well, I built up this equity and I go to sell. But like that guy was talking about, the author and the founder of I Will Teach You to Be Rich was saying, if you actually sit down and run the number, we ran the numbers to being in Tanzania. When you actually sit down and run the numbers, a lot of times purchasing a house doesn't make sense unless you're using it as a business asset. That's why we're in the market to, we develop properties and we've developed a cabin in Tanzania, but then we also are interested in Airbnb business here in the country we're in right now. So not taking a liability standpoint, like why would I just go grab a liability because it's there?
Yeah.
Because of access. But they made it that way because there's also that, do they call it the home loan? No, there was some kind of law they did back in the 50s and 60s that we saw.
The Housing Act?
The Housing Act, where they would do the red tape.
1949.
Dang, you remember the year?
Yeah, I was
the Housing Act of 1949, look it up. Where Black Americans were outside of that property matrix. They weren't able to buy a property. They couldn't get approved. So then when they let us get properties, we were just like, we weren't thinking about it. We were just like, yes, let's do it.
Let's just
without being a real strategy.
Yeah, because the Property Act, they
and all you're getting an understanding.
They came with a car. They said the dishwasher, the refrigerator,
1950s.
Stove. That is a big advantage right there.
Yeah, it made I'm finally a part of this American dream type thing. Only to find out that debt will crush you if you don't come in with the right strategy, if you don't sit down and get wise counsel and look at all your options. And that actually brings us to the most recent clients that we've been serving inside of the consulting agency and State of the Diaspora. We've noticed these 3 types of people. So for State of the Diaspora, by the way, State of the Diaspora is closed. If you want to speak to us one-to-one, you can look at the link in the description. But the people in State of the Diaspora, we look back and they were experts. They were in logistics and they were mostly moving, whether they were in America or in East Africa. They were looking to move to Southern Africa because they woke up and realized, okay, there's a lot of nuance to being in Africa. So help me understand these digital nomad visas. Help me understand these self-employed visas. How can I merge my LLC? How can I merge my logistics? How can I merge my business as an IT professional or as a real estate investor? And then the second scope was, like I was talking about, the self-employed nomads that are like, hey, I'm in IT, I'm in consulting, I'm in marketing, I'm a teacher online. How can I get a self-employed visa for this profession? These are only found in about 5 African markets. There's only about 5 African markets you can find the proper self-employed visa in. And then the experts. We started seeing a lot of experts coming through with highly specialized skill sets.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, truckers and logistics that deal with supply chain,
Very knowledgeable, yeah.
information technology, and real estate investors. Those were like the 3 top markets that came just within the last year. And everyone said the same thing. They're starting to understand the nuance of business and entrepreneurship. They're starting to understand the nuance of corruption through hearing maybe a story in a Facebook group, or maybe somebody they used to know that got in East Africa, or maybe it was West Africa, wherever it is. And so they're like, okay, how can I mitigate my risk? I need to go to wise counsel and people that have been there and done that and successfully merged their company.
Exactly. Yeah, because you got to really go to wise counsel, because just from the business coach that you did, what was that, 7 years ago?
It was 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
She wasn't the first one, but she was the best one.
Yeah. So
For sure.
So explain that the first one, then to the best one.
Yeah, I mean, all of my business coaches that we've used, they've been great. We've used, oh my gosh, y'all, we are avid believers of learning and always being students. So we invest every single year. We invest in books, we invest in consulting, and so when you see us, it's like, how do you get all this? Not because we're in the rooms, we're talking to people all over the globe. But the first one, like, this was in the very beginning of learning freelance writing. It was a woman in Canada. She was a stay-at-home mom of 2, so that was like the intro to freelance writing. I think the course was like $300 or something like that. Next one, Social Media United. That was a social media marketing agency owner, and that course was like, you could do a trial and then you pay monthly. Every month you would pay a fee. The next one was the next one. Okay, the next one was a lady named Alma. She actually still does consulting to this day for social media marketers. And so that was a fee of like $500. Then the one you're talking about, the business consultant that is an engineer by trade, but has a multi-million-dollar firm based in California, was the one that really changed. But we had to invest at a bigger level. We invested $2,500. And so that was like, oh, that's like new for us. Like, oh, that's a big amount. Man, it pays off to this day. Yeah. And we're getting ready to save up to invest with her again in the new year.
And that's what I wanted people to hear, because like you have, like, whatever you're trying to do, you need a mentor in a way. And trust me, that was hard to wrap my head around it. He's like, it's $2,500. I'm like, huh? Why? Why don't you just go on the YouTube University, But no, I mean, you can do that. You definitely can get your knowledge like that, but the people that actually is on the ground and actually in the field and doing the work that can really do this, don't do that. Okay, I see this, but you don't see this, so do it like this.
The gaps you can't see.
Yeah, it's like, it's definitely worth the investment, like, really.
It's beyond worth it.
Like, really.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, okay, I can start to understand this now. Like, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because you also get access to the rooms, because us being in Africa, we don't go to business events in America. Mm-hmm. Our clients, most of them are in North America, and they could be from Africa, or they could be, from various parts of the world, but we do business with them. But we don't go to business events in America. Mm-hmm. So we pay to invest in people who are in the spaces that we can't be in, because we're not back to America. Yeah. And so that broadens our network.
Yeah. You just got to have wise counsel. So, connect with people that's in your field. So if you want to move to Africa, connect with people that actually move to Africa.
And they're in your industry in Africa.
Exactly. Like, and yeah, because it was someone hit me up recently, and they said they're coming. And I'm like, hey, dude, do you have a business? Like, you know, do you have a monthly income? You know, everything work out? No. And it's just like, man, because this is what we did. To have that monthly income
Yeah.
helps you so much.
Like you have to.
You have to. That's just point blank period.
You have to.
That's just what it is. So, you know, you just gotta have wise counsel. Don't try to do everything by yourself. You know, how the Most High leads you for sure, but you just gotta have counsel. Like,
yeah,
that's very, very important.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the recent what's been going on inside of our agency. Somebody said, sing the awesome property. We posted, yeah, the properties here are like, it's such a vibe. It was just such a vibe, y'all. We told the members more behind the scenes, but you know, we got to have free lunch right around in the golf course. It just, and you don't even know these things exist, y'all.
Really?
Like
even
that really taught us.
We drove past that like twice, and I'm thinking it's just like a hotel or something. No, it was a whole community.
That was nice.
Nice
free
houses.
Lunch.
Yeah, like a
everything
whole
was
community.
just chill.
Everything that you needed. Everything that you needed. You
Gym, park, school, everything.
So it's like, yeah. But if you want to know more about that property and to invest and develop and stuff like that, go to members only. Because we give you all the information. You see this? She picked up the book. That's a whole like book.
Investment strategies.
Like, yeah.
Okay.
It's a whole book that we break down and tell our members like what's on and like what you can expect and how you can finance as a foreigner.
Yeah, because that's a huge myth.
Yeah.
But I understand why people believe it's a myth, because historically we haven't had African diaspora in some of these different markets in Southern Africa. Mm-hmm. Most people only go to South Africa, Ghana, or Kenya or Tanzania. People don't know about the other countries. Don't sleep on some of these countries that speak different languages. Don't be afraid to go somewhere just because people are different than you. From our perspective, we are eager to go to places where people are different than us, where people don't speak English. That doesn't faze us. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're more excited to go.
And if you in this truth, if you seeking this truth, fear should not faze you at all. It's faith over fear. Point blank period. Do not be fearful.
Yeah, because going out, people are like, oh, we barely see Americans. How'd you get here? I'm like, yeah, you gotta fly through Istanbul, then eventually you'll go through Kenya Airway, because y'all know Kenya's like the main hub if you're towards the East Africa area. And so, but yeah, it's really interesting, y'all. Like, we implore you to open your mind, but as you're opening your mind, gather all the facts you need, because there is definitely hidden faith out there for those who are diligent. Mm-hmm. But if you're not willing to be diligent, if you're not willing to receive wise counsel and abase yourself as a student and be humble, your life is probably already difficult and will continue being more difficult going forward. Yeah. So if you want to change that aspect of your life and you're like, man, I know I haven't humbled myself. I know I haven't been willing to be a student. I know I think I'm a know-it-all. Just take the time right now to change that mindset and say, you know what, there's an entire world out there that I don't know about, because I'm part of the 4% population on earth that lives in America. Just by that fact alone, you see, okay, there's some stuff I don't know. Even as it relates to the Bible, you don't even fully understand the Bible until you come out of America. Yeah. You don't even fully understand what the Most High is doing in this earth. As Americans, we have this pride, and it comes from the white American pride, let's be honest, but the black American community has put it on and said, oh, I think I know everything. You out here trying to teach somebody, I guarantee you these people know more than you about the Bible, because they're living it. Just like you said, with the guy, the neighbor who was telling you, he's living it and don't even know it. Mm-hmm. He's living the principle of him providing for his family, providing for his children, having houses set up for his children.
Exactly. And that's just a mindset of,
That's action-based faith. Yeah. Not, oh, I believe in the Bible, I'm going to go to church every Sunday, but I'm not actually doing the actions to replicate my faith, which is better.
Yeah, put it like this. If you believe, you're halfway there. So what is the other half that needs to happen?
And if you're doing it, you're all the way there.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if you're doing it, you're all the way there.
Belief in action. just do it. If you believe, just step out on faith and do it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all it takes. But yeah, y'all leave your questions in the comments. Blessings, fam. Y'all is so good. Yes, he is. Shalom from Gambia. Shalom, shalom. How's Gambia these days? It seems like it's pretty quiet, Gambia. But yes, y'all, that's what we want to talk about. Africa will completely shift your mindset if you allow it. Some people don't allow it. Some people are like, no, I need to keep this white American pride even though I'm black.
And maybe we're gonna have
If
to
you
do
allow it.
another video later. We'll see, because it's a lot to talk about. I don't want to get into that right now with
What?
the elections and everything. Just everything. North Korea, Russia, China, with Israel.
Yeah, North Korea. What's going on in North Korea,
yeah.
Africa?
No, they in Russia now helping.
Oh, Korea.
Yeah,
Troops on the ground in
that's
Russia.
what I'm like, that would just go into a whole nother spiel. So
That's interesting.
yeah,
Troops on the ground in Russia.
it's a lot that's going on, but this video we wanted to come on here to try to shift some people's mindset of this is possible, and you need to really shift your mindset before this corruption take over the whole world. I mean, it's already in America, and it's just going to overtake, especially the election that's coming up pretty soon in the next week or so.
That's gonna be a hot
bad.
mess.
So you really have to shift your mindset, change your heart, and really just get out of America. Like we always say in each video, I'm pretty sure if you go back to every one of our videos, we probably saying get out of America.
Yep, been saying it for years.
I think we got over 1,000 videos now, probably.
Yeah.
Over 1,000 times we say get out of America.
Yeah. And we were meditating on that before we left. We were literally praying to the Most High, Father, if your grace is sufficient, get me out of this country.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, yes, my grace is sufficient. Here you go. I'll bless you abundantly every step of the way.
His promise is real. His promise will stand. It is standing. But you have to be obedient and listen and know that it's real.
Yeah,
Like,
you can't
really.
cop out and be afraid of everything.
Yeah.
And then have your idol and go back to America. Like the Israelites went back to Egypt. They're like, Moses trying to kill us out here. Just so dramatic. He's not trying to kill us.
Yeah.
Just dramatic.
But yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the information and content. This is just supposed to be a quick live because we got some stuff to do.
Yep.
And people to
Gotta do some business stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff for homeschool.
Yeah. If you guys are interested in, dang, what I was about to say?
What?
Interested in marketing, real estate, I guess.
Oh, if you're interested in different African real estate properties, go ahead and follow journey_in_real estate on Instagram.
Yeah.
You will see some of the behind the scenes footage that we're doing. We're doing another tour next week. I'm excited for that. I'm maybe more excited for that one because that's going to be, I don't know what area that's in, but yeah, it's going to be really fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good time. So yeah, we're going to get off here, y'all.
Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, and we'll talk to you next video.
Shalom.
Shalom.